put it down there. I'd like to just welcome to stage a very special person. This is, who knows Dan? Just so I know. Oh, no. Almost as many people know Dan as know This Works, but This Works did win. Yeah. So Dan has been our head of performance at Bolt Digital for about 18 months. He's now moved to one of our investee companies, JAAQ, and that's because Dan and JAAQ are in the room. And the reason Dan's moved to JAAQ is because he's very bright and talented, as you'll see, and that's where we presently need him. So, but Dan is still, as you can see, a part of the Bolt Digital fabric. Welcome, Dan. Can we give Dan a big round of applause?
I've been called many things so far today, but right now I'm nervous, Dan. To make me feel less nervous, can everyone take a stand up, please? Everyone stand up on your feet. I'm going to do something to make you a bit embarrassed. So everyone just do a bit of jazz hands for me. There you go. Great. Now you can all sit down again. Right, now I feel more comfortable. Great. Tash has already introduced me, so I can't do any better than that. So I will crack on, and I always go over. So be prepared, / if I speak quite fast, that is why. So why is a tech stack? What is a tech stack and why is it important? Quite simply put, it's a collection of digital tools, software applications and platforms that you use on your online store and your business. The real key thing and certain part of that means actually is about how you use your data, how is it stored, how is it processed, how is it analyzed in the right way to allow you to make data-led decisions. Because ultimately, the way in which I see the most important thing about a tech stack is it's like an extra man on the football field for you, if anyone likes sports or football. And if you're not using, you're simply putting money on the table, you're leaving money on the table. To set the scene and a little bit of kind of the overwhelm which quite a lot of the brands that we speak to sometimes have is that there is an incredible amount of different apps available. And right now, at this current moment in time, I think there's 4,513 apps on the Shopify App Store. Which first of all means that, listen to me, because I'm going to give you some top tips on which are the best ones, so you don't have to go through every single one. But also means that most likely, if you're looking to do something, it's already been made and designed for you. And I think I'm going to reference Adam, who spoke earlier today from the t-shirt company, because he made some really good points, which is quite often you don't need to build it yourself. Someone quite often spent time, effort, and money building it for you and putting it into place. So some great things to consider when adding tech stack to your site. And I'll be speaking to a few more people after this, but the really key things is the impact on your site speed. Now, everyone here can agree that site speed is probably one of the key things on their website that allows people to convert. So do not suddenly start jumping in 5 different tech apps that suddenly reduce your site speed down to 2 seconds, and actually you kind of see a massive drop off in your conversion rate. User experience, again, do not suddenly start adding tech stack apps to your core PDP page, your product pages, if you don't actually know how it's going to impact the user experience. I'm a massive believer in kind of A/B testing. I'm sure everyone else here in the room is as well. So this is very key when you actually look at which tech stack you're going to be using, is to A/B test it. Use it on 10% of your audience. Does it improve the conversion rate? Great. 40% of your audience? Great. Now you can roll it out site-wide. Just because the hypothesis makes sense doesn't mean your users are going to use it in the right way. Does it deflect from the page's ultimate goal? So if you're trying to sell a product and then you're trying to ram a quiz down their throat and you're trying to get them to sign up to a newsletter and you're trying to get them to do 3 different things, yes, zero-party data collection is really important, but actually, if you're trying to drive a sale, make sure the tech stack on that page is driving towards your ultimate goal of that page. Does it result in more customer sales? Quite simply put, does it improve your conversion rate, your CAC on the site? Does it integrate with other tech tools? So Gorgeous, I don't know if they're still here, is a really classic example of how amazing they integrate with so many other tech stack tools and maximize the effectiveness of how they could operate as a business. Again, you don't want to have 15 different tools that all sit there individually, but none of them talk to each other and actually end up going around driving you insane. Customer service. So this is really important for me, I think. So I've recently had an experience of Sprout Social. Put your hand up if you've ever heard of Sprout Social. I personally hate them. Hate them because their customer service is rubbish. I've tried 15 times to get one person to speak to on the phone, and I cannot do it. Now, if you are working in a fast-paced industry and you need to understand how to adjust a piece of tech or how to get it off of a website, how to add it on, you need someone who's actually going to get on the phone and have a conversation with you. So really understanding that when you're analyzing which tech stack you're going to put on your site is really important. And then lastly, resource required internally. So again, Adam made a really good point, and we're going to be speaking to Superco a little bit later, which is quite often, it's really hard to hire in-house talent that can do this exactly for you, who can be versatile enough to actually work with a broad range of different apps. So you can lean into agencies to really support you there. Don't suddenly be going to your team and add on these 5 text apps straight away and expect them to go, yes, sir, I'm going to click my fingers and suddenly had them added in. I think Sean probably knows quite well the difficulties of getting sign-off internally around GDPR and the data privacy laws around it as well. So don't just blindly go into it going, this is what we're going to do, and just expect people to go, right, okay, that makes sense. Quite often it's a bit more complex than that. So I came up with a bit of something that, put your hands up if you've ever heard of game changers. Okay, great. The majority of you. So Game Changers is our one-day strategy here at Bolt. And there's something that I talk about on Game Changers quite a lot. And for me, really, I think there's a kind of a calculation to what makes a healthy business. It's if you can find the right product market fit, you can then get traffic to your site effectively. You've got an effective CRO, so can you get conversion rate effectively on your site? And if you've got a good retention strategy, you are going to have a healthy business. Any business which is not going to succeed will have a failure in one or more of these certain elements throughout. And tech plays a massive part. So quite often people think, oh, you know what, it's paid advertising gets the traffic to site. Yes, it does, but actually there's elements that can be important from a tech perspective of helping you make decisions. So to give you examples, product market fit. There's lots of interesting tech stuff out there to help you with consumer research. For example, put your hand up if you struggle to get testimonials or feedback from your customers. No one. I know you're lying because every time I normally do this, everyone really struggles to get research. You've got A/B testing tools, which allow you to obviously optimize your websites and understand actually, does the actual product fit the types of customers you're going to? Can you create generic landing pages to begin with before you've even built the product? Allows you to establish thought leadership. So there's tech apps around webinar. Some of the brands that we work with, so a brand that we work with called El Sera, which is a menopause supplement. One of their real values is they've been able to drive real strong thought leadership in the space that they're in, because menopause is something that a lot of people lack information about, want to find more information about, and it isn't that much of a competitive market at the moment. So using tech stack that allowed them to become that thought leader by allowing zero-party data asset collection, by allowing them to improve the amount of CRM database they've got and make it really seamless was really important to their success. And then lastly, kind of data enrichment. And again, these are not everything. These are just examples that I wanted to show you. Next is traffic. So again, I'll be talking a little bit later on about, very briefly after this slide, in terms of attribution technology, but actually understanding traffic is important, yes, but actually how do you make sure you're sending the right traffic that's driving incremental gains to your business? How do you make sure that you are optimizing your budget in the right way? So for example, effective kind of creative gathering. Are you using a tool to get lots of UGC, or are you really limited there? How are you testing that? How are you storing that, for example? One of the biggest issues we see sometimes when we speak to brands is we're like, give us your assets. And they're like, okay, here's a million different folders. I don't know what's in any of them. Right, let's go. How can we optimize from there? And then optimization as well. So a classic example that we always show when we're in Game Changers is in terms of the tracking and optimization, attribution. So your bare minimum, you've got the kind of the API, Google Analytics. Then you've got in the middle for brands that may be anywhere up to around 255 million in terms of revenue, Triplewell and Northbeam. And then really, are you at the level actually where you could be working with guys like Measured, the gold standard in incrementality of attribution, where if I was spending 100K over marketing, would be one of the first things that I would put into my brand. Next is in terms of effective CRO. So you've got things like landing page testing, site speed, A/B testing, upselling. Someone already mentioned some of the brands, some of the tech stack we work with here, all really effective and can be really useful in improving your conversion rate. So I'm a performance marketer, and I hate when people go, it's only the marketing's or advertising responsibility to improve the performance, whereas a whole world of tech that you can really utilize to maximize your effectiveness. Then you've got retention strategy. So some of the people we're speaking today already, we've got other kind of solutions, so maximizing the utilization rate, delivery experience, repurchase at the right time, and cross-selling, etc. It says cross-welling, it's meant to say cross-selling, sorry. All of these will be really effective for helping you with an effective business.